Hello and welcome coders to the Sky Coding. So now we will discuss about flattening JSON data into separate tables. Okay, we have covered all of the JSON object construct array arguments in the previous session. Okay, so we have left this seventh point, that is flattening JSON data into separate tables. Okay, so now we will continue from there only. Okay, and let me talk about that what we have discussed in the previous session related to JSON. Okay, so we have seen object construct. Okay, that how can we convert normal data into the JSON form. Okay, and we have seen this array underscore argument function. Okay, that it is just returning the array type of data, means semi-structured JSON data. Okay, and we have seen this parse underscore JSON function. So it is just parsing the JSON data into our Snowflake tables. Let me tell you. Okay, so earlier what we are doing, we are just inserting the data like this way. This is, suppose that this is our JSON data in the key value pairs. Okay, so whenever I try to insert this data into the table, it will not insert. Okay, so for that we will basically use this parse underscore JSON function for just parsing the JSON data into the variant column of the table. Okay, so this is basically about this parse underscore JSON, and we have directly inserted the JSON records into the variant column of table by using the parse underscore JSON. And we have seen that how can we access the data by using colon notation, dollar notation, and we have seen that how can we access array type of data, nested data. Okay, and we have seen type of function, which is basically telling that what type of data that JSON, our Snowflake, is taking that JSON data. Okay, and we have deal with the date and timestamp, that how this thing how our Snowflake is dealing with the date and timestamp. Okay, we have seen this thing. Okay, so this is basically colon notation. This is a type of answer which is just telling that, suppose that this is a, so what type of age it is. Okay, means it is a number or integer, or suppose that this is height in feet. Okay, so we have seen that it is a decimal. Okay, we have seen all those things. Okay, so now we will discuss about this flattening JSON data and loading into the Snowflake tables. Okay, so here what we will do, here we have this data. Okay, we have this data. Okay, and we will let me show you the data first. Okay, so basically this is only the data. Okay, so the employee name is John and age, height, and married. We have used this data here as well. Okay, so name, height, and all those things. Okay, DOB. Okay, so here what it is happening here, this is a phone. So phone is an array type of data. You can say phone, and in the phone we have two phones. This is one phone and this is second phone. So maximum size of this array, phone array, is 2. Okay, so phone is an array type of data, and address, this is an address. Address is a nested data. In the address we have street, we have city. Okay, so and state. Okay, so the address is a nested type of data, and phone is a array type of data. So in the flattening, what we will do, in the flattening we will just store this employee, this one data, in some other table, and this phone array type of data in some in the phone table, and address nested data in the address table. Okay, so this is basically the flattening which I am going to do here. Okay, there will be one master table for employee, and after that there will be another phone table which is a child table, which will be just having a relationship with the employee master table. Okay, and in the same way address is a child table which is also having the relationship with the employee master table. Okay, so we will just use this and we will just join the tables. Okay, and let's talk about that. We have also discussed JSON flattening in the previous sessions, where we have discussed about JSON internal loading. Okay, so you can see we have just done this flattening. Okay, and here what we are doing, here we are just using this lateral flatten function for just parsing the data into the tabular format, and we are just creating the table. Okay, so this is also a flattening. Okay, but here what we will do, here this is a flattening. Here we are just creating the separate tables for the means array type of data and for the nested type of data. Okay, this is basically the data. Okay, so let me copy and let me try to open this is in the VS Code. Okay, then we will better understand this thing. Okay, because in the VS Code we will understand this in the JSON format. Okay, here it is not showing clearly. Okay, so let me show you the nested and array type of data in the VS Code. Okay, so this is basically the employee.json. Okay, so you can see this is employee name, and you can see this is email, this type of data. This is basically the master table, this will be. Okay, and this is a phone. Okay, so this is a phone, so this is an array type of data. You can see here this is square bracket starting, this is square bracket ending, and this is a comma. So this is array, and this array is having two records, one phone 1 and phone 2. Okay, and in the similar way address also, address is a nested type of data. Address, in the address we have a street and we have city and we have state. Okay, so in the same way this is also, the name is John 1, John 2. Okay, so rest all the data is same. Okay, so now we will just create the separate tables. For the array phone we will create separate table, and for the address nested data we will create a separate table. Okay, this is basically the flattening which I am going to do. Okay, so now first of all let me create a one simple JSON type of variant column table, and when then we will insert these records into that table. Okay, after we will see flatten. Okay, so let me remove this transient because we are not going to create a transient table, we will just use the permanent table only. Okay, so now let me create a one table, employee table, and you can see employee table is now successfully created, and it is having a variant column. Okay, the data type of that column is variant. Okay, you can see employee JSON is a variant column. Okay, here is only one column. Okay, so now you can see table is now successfully created, and now let's check the data in the table. Okay, let me remove the comment. Select asterisk from and my table name is employee underscore table. Okay, so let me give and let me execute and let's check. Okay, you can see we have 0 rows here. Okay, so now we will just use the parse underscore JSON function as we have discussed earlier. We basically use parse underscore JSON function for inserting the JSON records into the variant column table. Okay, so here we are inserting to this table, and this is basically the variant column, this one, and after that we are inserting the record. Okay, so this is basically the JSON data. Okay, you can see this is the data only. Okay, so now let's execute this and let's see that whether it is inserting the record or not. Okay, you can see number of rows inserted 2. Okay, and in the similar way we will insert one more record. Okay, so let's execute this again and let's insert the second record. Okay, you can see we got one more row inserted. Okay, so now let's check the data in the table. Okay, so you can see we got 2 rows, and this is a row 1 record where employee name is John 1. You can see this is John 1, and in the second row we will get John 2. Okay, you can see we got this name as John 2. Okay, so we got 2 records. Okay, and you can see this is a phone is an array type of data. Okay, and this is basically the address is a type of nested data. Okay, yeah, this is address data. Okay, so we will just deal with these things. Okay, so now what we will do, we will just create a sequences. Okay, sequences objects for attaching these 3 tables. Okay, for just showing the relationship between employee table, phone table, and address table. Okay, as I have discussed that phone table we will create separately because in the phone we have this type of data. Okay, in the phone we have array type of data. You can see in the phone we have array type of data, and in the address we have nested data. Okay, so we are creating separate table for phone and separate table for address. Okay, and here you can see here we have maximum size of the array is 1 only, but here maximum size of array is 2. Okay, so we will deal with these things. Okay, so you can see I have written here creating sequence objects for attaching these 3 tables: employees and master table, phone is a array type of table, means it will just store array type of data of the phone. Okay, we have 2 phones and it will store that phone data, but it will be having a relationship with this master table. And in the similar way address will also be the master, having the relationship with the master table. Again, for primary and foreign key. Okay, creating sequence for incremental number as a primary key and foreign key. Okay, so let me create a sequence. Okay, so this is basically the master sequence for the employee table, and this is basically the sequence for the phone. Okay, phone table. Okay, and this is basically the sequence for the address table, so that start will be 1 and increment will be 1. Okay, you can see it is starting from 1 and it will increment with 1. Okay, you can create a primary and foreign key also for the managing the relationship between master and the child tables. Okay, so now what we will do, we will create a one master table. Okay, so this is basically the master table, create or replace table employee master, and we have given this using sequence objects as an auto generated number. Okay, employee pk and default, and you can see we are just using this one. Okay, employee sequence, this one we are using. Okay, so now let's create a one employee master table and let's execute, and you can see employee master table is created. And now we will create a child table holding all the phones. Okay, it will just store all of the phone records into this table, and it is having the relationship with this table. This is a master table, so it is having the relationship with the master table. Okay, and you can see we have given here using sequence of we are just giving here phone sequence as an auto generated number as a primary key or the foreign key we can use. Okay, you can see this is a phone sequence, so we are just giving the phone name here. Okay, so now let me create a phone table, and after that we will create a address table as well. In the similar way, here we are just using this address sequence for generating an auto generated number. Okay, so you can see address table is now successfully created, and now let's check the data here. Okay, so let's refresh, and if it is another table, so that table will be just removed. Okay, so let's check. Okay, so what are the tables we have created? We have created this employee master table. You can see employee master 0 rows, employee address 0 rows, and employee phone 0 rows. Okay, so employee master is a table where I will store all data, and this is basically employee address table. Here we will just store the address nested data, and in the employee phone table we will store the phone type of data. Okay, where all the phones are be in the array type of data. Okay, so we will store phone data in this. Okay, so you can see all the tables are now ready. So now what we will do, we will just insert the data. Okay, inserting data from the JSON table. This is our employee table. It is a table which is having all types of data in the JSON form. Okay, so we will just insert into this that data into employee master table. Okay, we are just inserting name, age, height in centimeter, is married, has kids, stock options, and email. Okay, so now let's check the data first. Okay, we are just using the colon notation here. Okay, you can check here colon notation and employee name, and we are just casting it to the string, and age and height, and you can see we are just performing here mathematical calculation as well. We are just converting this height into the centimeter. Okay, as it is in feet. Okay, we have discussed this thing and we have done this conversion in the previous session as well. Okay, so this is married and all those things, these are the alias name which I have given. Okay, we have done this thing in the previous session. Okay, so now let's check the data first. Okay, you can see we got all the of the records. Name John 1, is 30, height in centimeter, is married, has kids, and here stock option is null, and you can see here stock option, and this is basically the email. Okay, so we got all of the data. Okay, and we don't got here a phone and the address, because we will just store phone and address in the separate tables. In the phone table we will store phone data, and in the address table we will store address data. Okay, so now let's create a one table and let's store this data in the employee master table. Okay, so we are just creating this insert into employee master where name is, and we are just inserting these records. Okay, so now let me create the table. Okay, and let's execute this. Okay, and you can see number of rows inserted 2. Okay, and in the employee master table. Okay, let me show you the metadata of the employee master. This is employee master, and these are the columns: name, age, height, is married, has kids, stock option, and email. Okay, we have all these data in the employee master table. Okay, so now let's check the data in the employee master table. Okay, so you can see we got 2 rows, John 1, John 2, and we got all of the data in the tabular format. Okay, earlier we are having the data in the JSON format, and let's check the data in the JSON table as well. Select asterisk from where we have variant column employee underscore tbl. Okay, this is my table where I have the JSON type of data in the variant column. You can see we have this data in the JSON format. Okay, and we have just taken that data and we have just stored the employee data into this table. Okay, you can see we got all of the data in the tabular format. Okay, and now in the similar way, what we will do, in the similar way we will just store the phone table, that phone data which is in the array, and we will just store phone data into this phone table. Okay, so here we have created this phone table. Okay, this is the phone table and it is having the reference to this master table. Okay, we have created the sequence object for that. Okay, so here we are just giving this employee table as well. Okay, joining a variant column data type with the employee table and with the master table as well. Okay, we are just taking the data from the employee underscore tbl. This is a table which is having the variant column and it is having a JSON type of data. Okay, so we are just joining a variant data type employee table with the employee master table. Okay, and we are just comparing the email. Okay, so because here we have two emails and the emails are, we can use the email as a unique identifier. Okay, because email is just different for every user. You can see for the email this john1@tips.com and john2@tips.com. Okay, so here these two tables means these two employees are having separate means different email, and obviously email will be different only, so we can just compare by using the email. Okay, so we are just comparing email because email is unique for everyone. Okay, and you can see we are just doing the union all because we have two rows, so we will just do the union all. Okay, and here also we are just comparing on the basis of email only. Okay, you can pause the screen and you can just understand this query, that how this query is fired. Okay, you can see employee JSON and we are just passing this employee phone 1 here and here employee phone for the 0 indexing position. Okay, as I have told you, in the phone we have two records. In the maximum size of an array is two. Okay, phone 1 and phone 2. Okay, so phone 0 means we are just inserting and we are just taking the indexing here. Okay, phone 0 records. Okay, and we are just parsing this to the string. Okay, and the phone 1 we are just parsing this to the string. Okay, so this is basically the 1 indexing position phone, and this is basically the 0 indexing position. Okay, so now let me execute this and let's create a one table. Okay, so let's check this thing. Okay, so now you can see number of rows inserted 4. Okay, and let's check the data in the employee phone table. Okay, and it is having a foreign key and primary key references to the master table, and you can see this phone pk and employee pk, and these are the references which are generated by default. Okay, you can see this is a 4 rows and this is phone type and this is phone number. Okay, and for the work phone of this phone pk4 we don't have any of the data, so that's why it is showing. Okay, you can just verify these things with the master table. Okay, you can see these are the things are generated. Okay, so in the similar way we will just use the relationship by the sequences, and we will just insert the address record into the address table. Okay, so now let's execute this, and we are just using the email also for the comparison of a here. Okay, because email is just a unique identifier we are dealing with. Okay, so now let's create this table and insert the data into this table. Okay, so now let's check the data here as well. Okay, so you can see we got 2 rows. Okay, address pk is generated, employee pk is generated, foreign key is generated, and street address, city and state. Okay, so for better understanding of these things you must know about this foreign key, primary key and all those things. Okay, sequences. Okay, then you will better understand this thing. Okay, this is basically the sql part only. We are just dealing with the sql part. Okay, we are just joining the employee table. This is employee table which is having a variant column and it is having a json type of data. Okay, and this is a master table which is having all of the means we have created the sequences and references to this table. Okay, for the phone table and address table we are just taking the reference for this master table. Okay, so suppose that we are just checking the data. You can just check the data and let's check that whether it is showing the data with the comparison with the combination or not. Okay, what it is showing, empty sql statement. Okay, so let's check this once and let's check. Okay, you can see we got 2 rows, and now you will see here we got employee pk, name, age, height, is married, has stock option, and you can see we got address as well. Okay, you can see we got address as well because we have done the relationship between the employee master table and the address table and the phone table. Okay, so you can just fire this type of query. You can see we are just firing this query on the employee pk and we are just joining this master table with the address table. Okay, so you can see we will get all of the data with the employee master table and with the address table. You can see we got the address table data as well here. Okay, and if you want to get the data for the phone table, then you can get the phone table data as well by just joining here. Okay, and you are just by just comparing the foreign key and the primary key. Okay, you can see we have just done this thing. Okay, so by this way you can do the flattening. Okay, flattening is a very simple, but here what you have to do, here you have to be very confident and in the that topic, primary key and foreign key. Okay, and joining as well. This is basically the sql part only which we are doing here. Okay, and union all. Okay, we are doing union or because we want to union because we have 2 records. Okay, in the similar way you can just do these things. Okay, so what we have done, we have just stored all of the data, means we have stored all data of the employee and in the employee master table, and after that phone is an array, so we have stored this phone type of data, array type of data in the phone table, and in the phone table, and you can see this is an address, so address type of data in the address table. Okay, so by this way you can just do the flattening. Okay, suppose that you can just then after flattening you can just query the data from each of these table, from phone table or the address table. Okay, so this is basically the flattening you can do. So now let's check the data in all of the tables. Select asterisk from employee tbl. Okay, this is basically our json table which is having a variant column and data in the json format. And now let's check the data from select asterisk from employee master table, and after that we will check the data from where let me write the query first. Select asterisk from emp address. We will check the data from emp address, and after that we will check the data from select asterisk from emp phones. Okay, which is having all of the phones records. Okay, so now let's check the data first in the employee table, which is having a variant column and all the data in the JSON. Okay, you can see we have this data, employee address, and you can see this is address nested, and this is a phone, which is array type of data. Okay, so now let's check the data. We have just converted and exploded that array type of semi-structured JSON data into these tables. These are the tables which are having this data only, this JSON data only. These are the tables which are having this JSON data only, but these are having a data in the tabular format. Okay, so let's check. Okay, so you can see this is an employee master table, and you can see we got all of the data in the tabular format. Okay, and for the emp address, you can see this is a reference which is showing address primary key and employee foreign key. Okay, and you can see street address, city, and state. We got all of the address data here, and this is basically emp phone. Okay, you can see this is having a reference to the emp means master table. This is a master table. You can see this is a phone type and this is a phone number. We got all of the phone records into this table. Okay, so that's how you could do the do the flattening. Flattening means you are just dividing all of the data in the separate table. Suppose that this is our employee table, master table, and that employee table, main table. Okay, it is having all of the data in the JSON format. Okay, so now what we are doing, we are just dividing employee data in the employee master table. We are just dividing employee address data in the address table, and we are just dividing the employee phone data in the emp phone table. Okay, so that's all about the flattering, and I will also give these queries in the telegram channel, so you can join that and you can get all of these queries from their SQL scripts, which I am just using in the session. And you will also get whatever the JSON files, CSV files we are using over that channel only, over that telegram channel. Okay, so that's all for today, flattening JSON data and loading into Snowflake tables. So that's all about the JSON, and from the upcoming session we will start data sampling, data masking, and after that we will start the stored procedures and the functions. Okay, so that's all for today. Meet you soon in the next very interesting tutorial, and if you face any type of doubt, then you can ask me. And that's all for today, flattening JSON data, and we have covered lots of points. Okay, so let me just do this thing. Okay, you can see we have covered these seven points related to JSON, and we have seen JSON internal loading. You can see we have covered this thing, JSON internal loading, and we have seen this 6 topics here. And in the JSON external loading as well, we have done the loading from the external stage. Okay, so that's all for today. Bye, take care of yourself, guys. Okay.